Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Justice? Hi, I'm Kat Bine, a music and culture journalist, and it's fair to say I'm a pretty huge fan of Justice. I've been following the French electronic duo since the release of their debut album Cross in 2007, and I've seen them at least once on every tour since 2008. I traveled to Coachella this year to interview the band around their new Hyperdrama show, and I was so impressed by what I saw, I asked to follow them on the East Coast leg of their tour and make a video documenting this moment in their history. They said that I could, so I did. I know it's a bit crazy and insane to go to 4 Justice shows in the span of 7 days, but if you've seen Justice, you would know it's not that crazy, particularly this tour. It is like monumental, once-in-a-lifetime shit. When I pitched it, I felt a little crazy, felt a little vulnerable, but as soon as I got to the show in New York, I met other people who are doing the same thing. Some people who'd never even seen them before.
It is my first time. I'm only 22, so last time they came around, I was like, 14. I got here around 2 o'clock. I'm driving in from New Jersey, so the traffic, unpredictable. I made like little crafts to give out to my online friends. So I'm going to actually 7 shows. So I'm kind of following them around. Because I'm going to a bunch of shows, I made a sticker for each show. Made a little zine of all my Ed Banger kind of sketches. This one's kind of been flat in my pocket. I drew these with pens. I have these little keychains and they have Spotify codes on the back. A lot of my friends are K-pop fans and they're always giving stuff, making stuff. It's so much fun. Like, why am I not part of this? And so now I do it for every show. You can tell I have a Lorna Shore, which is like a heavy metal band. I'd be giving stuff away at all these shows.
I'm also really active in the dubstep community and they do a ton of candy trading, so I 3D print a lot of stuff. So here I've got the ED Rec logo, the Justice logo, and I also made these little keychains based off the little light up Marshall lamp they have. But the second I heard Hyperdrama was coming out, I knew they're going on tour. I was like, I'm seeing them live this year. I need to at least once or twice every close by stop.
At least I was old enough to see Woman Worldwide at Lollapalooza because that was the nearest place I could go to.
Do you have any idea what you're in for at this show?
No idea.
How are you, Kat?
Well, I'm doing great. Great to see you again.
So where are we?
Where are we? Look at who's doing the interview.
Yes, I'm stealing the show.
In the green room of one busiest of P's here at Brooklyn Navy Yard, I believe. And
Yes.
some band called Justice, some up-and-comers, are going
About to
show
do
us what they're about later tonight.
2 sold-out shows in New York City, and yes, I had to be here. Very happy to be, back in the US with Xavier and Gaspar. This afternoon we were trying to remember when was the last Justice live show in the US.
Proper headline show, too.
So proper headline. My memory is terrible, but the last time Justice performed live was, I think, for me in Los Angeles with the Tyler's Festival. Camp Flog.
No, you know what it was?
No.
It was Hard Day of the Dead.
But was it a live show?
Yes. It was my birthday, actually, that day.
So you remember?
I can't forget.
You remember, Kat? Okay.
Yeah,
So
it
was in the
fantastic.
2018?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Before
Crazy.
the
It's been a long
madness.
time.
Okay.
But what's insane is that show was so over the top and crazy. It blew my mind. And I remember thinking, there's no way they can top that.
Wait for it.
And then what the fuck did they do?
Wait for it, Kat.
First time I saw Justice was in 2008 at a club called Firestone in Orlando. The energy of that show was absolutely insane. From the moment they first started playing the beginning sounds of Genesis, it was like the crowd just turned into a mosh pit. You can tell the way I'm holding the camera that I'm struggling to remain standing on my 2 feet because it just became absolute mayhem. I've been really curious as I head out onto this tour, is the energy at these shows going to be comparable with the unhinged bedlam that was a Justice show at the peak of Bloghouse 2008? It's hard to say that it's quite the same, but it's pretty fucking unhinged. I think there's just something about their sound mixed with the overwhelming light show, juxtaposed with their insanely calm demeanor, that just builds a very intense energy, and it has to escape somewhere. And they're so locked in, the only gasket is you. But to try to compare that 2008 show to this it's really night and day, with a through line of these crazy bastards.
Don't let yourself be distracted by your reflection in the camera.
So you debuted the show at Coachella. Of course, I was there, and it was spectacular. But you've done a few more festivals in Europe, and now this run on the East Coast. Are you beginning to feel like it's comfortable? Are you starting to have fun with it, or does it still kind of feel like jumping off a cliff every night?
Yeah, it's not like we're complaining, because it's definitely not the hardest job in the world. But the live show is really the part of the whole thing where we feel we are actually working, because it's more like teamwork than when we make albums together. When we make an album, we are free of the timing, the everything. We can show up at the studio at 8 p.m. if we want to. When we tour, when we play, a huge part of our job is to be on time. And also, unlike the studio work, it still doesn't feel natural for us to be on stage, but we find plenty of ways of making it easier. Every night before going on stage, we are really thinking why are we doing this? And when we come out of stage, when it was good, we're like, okay, that's why we're doing this, because it's fun, yeah.
It's just very gratifying to see people having a good time, to see the new material and the whole show being effective on people.
The most spectacle as art show I've ever seen. Just being blown away by just how much thought, consideration, and once again love went into this in elevating what could have just been a straightforward presentation of new music. Never in a million years did I have on my 2024 bingo card DANC is gonna make me cry, but the encore just being this mostly a cappella version of dance, and that just hitting me right in the feels. They're using technology which is appropriate for how they came up, because they came up at this perfect moment of the internet and social media combining to allow people to discover music and discover other fans in this really organic yet synthesized way. Yo, literally, I don't have the cover. That's literally the cover of Hyperdrama right there. There's just so much. They're really elevating the medium of the electronic live show, picking up the baton that Daft Punk, because a lot of people took the wrong message from the Alive tour of just spectacle. No, it's not just spectacle. It's thoughtfully considered spectacle in tandem with the music and who you are as a band. The fact that Justice did what they did with no visuals, just pure lights, technology, and dynamism of the panels, of the lighting, the fact that the platform they're standing on is lighting up at different times. Can't tell you off the top of my head, but I am sure that when the Woman Worldwide-esque lights came on, Safe and Sound was probably playing. There's literally so much to talk about. It was incredible.
If they could do more and more for every show, that's a natural evolution, but specific with Xavier and Gaspard, they always push forwards criticize with Lewis.
We start when we speak together with Xavier and Gaspard. They have the same way of the beginning of the tour, and all the time is more difference with the setup. Okay.
They have the same rules, you know.
Yeah.
No big video screen with a specific video inside. They love to have a lot of different LED or light, but they all three use as the same. One of the sentences of Xavier one time said, show me 100 type of turn it on and turn it off.
Very binary.
But actually, it takes a lot of big screens not to show any big screens on stage. And every new tour, visually, it becomes simpler and simpler. But technically, it becomes more complicated all the time. Because, it takes a lot of technologies and effort to make something that looks a bit streamlined. We are not very compelled by the techno aesthetic or the electronic music aesthetic in general. It's just not part of our language. We noticed that maybe too many visual informations can be distractive. So even when we worked on this with Lewis, we were like working on every track and we're trying to have like no random things. Every light is really illustrating something precise in the music. Every movement is also slower. But just because when things move slowly, they look bigger, they look heavier, you know. When you make like an animation or a film, if you want something to look huge, you make it move like very slowly. And it will give this impression. If it moves fast, you're like, okay, this is like an insect or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's all like a blend of a lot of sensations. But the main reason is because that's just how we feel it. And
My friend and I like to call it minimalism done to its maximal effect. It's just like, it's just all these lights, but it's gonna fuck you up.
Holy shit. I don't have a face anymore. Melted. This is incredible. Sweet justice. Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's fucking incredible. I mean, it's the best show you can ever see. I convinced like 40 people to come.
That was crazy. Gaspar took my sticker for the second night in a row. Oh my god, he's looking at me, he's like, and I'm like, yeah, that's me.
I would go see that show in DC on Sunday and I'm considering it. That's how good it was. That's how good it was.
And where were you last night?
I said Jamie XS until 3 a.m. Justice was way better. Sorry, Jamie. I'm not sorry though.
I'll spend my life savings. We gotta get this done. He waved at me during the show and he shook my hand. It was just amazing. I can die peacefully.
The intro is crazy.
I was just gonna the outro where they like did it all together in one. That
I thought
was
the intro
so
where they were like
sick.
splicing in different songs from different albums was just insane. Like,
Yeah,
so good.
yeah, they're so good.
And then like the stage effects and everything, like everything was just unbelievable.
One of the best to do it, seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
There's no one else doing live shows at this level of consideration and quality, and not just for these live shows in and of themselves, but who they are as a band and their history and even their previous live shows. It's rock and roll. It's fucking rock and roll in a way that actual rock and roll isn't rock and roll. I Survived Justice isn't just like a flex. It is a very real statement.
Who came up with the I Survived t-shirts? Because truly, everyone who buys one of those shirts has earned it.
we've always been very terrible at merchandising, but part of that is because I think we are like still not completely seduced by the idea of manufacturing more items.
Oh, facts, yeah.
Just to sell more items. So we are thinking, okay, maybe we should do one item per city in limited edition. And there's like those postcards that we love, where you have like the name of the city. We worked with this brand called FSG, yeah. And when we demoed like the first visual, we were like, okay, that's cool, but maybe it's missing something. And then we found I Survived, just to make it more cliche.
Yeah, it's great.
We are full of cliches.
It would have been like I went to a Justice show and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
Honestly,
Of course.
I'd buy that too.
One of the two. but also because we are like suckers for this, like in every airport of the world, I will always buy a magnet of the city.
Of course.
And on our rider, we don't have a lot of things, but one of the things is to have local postcards with the stamps so we can like send them out. So I mean, we just make what we would like to get.
I was interested as well when you first started coming up with this tour iteration. Obviously, it's building on what you did in 2017 with Women Worldwide. But what was the original concept? How did you try to describe to one another what you were putting together? And kudos for being able to pull it off, because they were telling me you had to customize a lot of shit to make this happen.
Yeah, like I think like more than 80% of what we have on stage is customized.
It's couture.
They wanted always something specific, something never seen on stage.
Short order, real easy, guys.
So it pushed us to create customs, always customs. All the roof is all the spots, moving heads. We cut the head and we develop with the rest of the team, with Sébastien Sacco, who is engineer of that. He create a new moving heads for the shows. Of course, we take a lot of experience. I think I grew up in my job more with Justice than other bands, of course.
Doing something that no one has seen before is a really important element of what you try to put together. Why is such a high bar important to you?
I think it comes from the fact that we are really not a good audience for live shows. Before touring with Justice, I've been to maybe 4 shows in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
What shows were those?
I saw James Brown.
Wow, way to start at the top.
Yeah, that was my first show actually.
How old were you?
I was like 14 years old or 13 years old. I saw a magician show of like a guy that changes clothes 1,000 times in 1 hour. That was great. And maybe a couple of other ones. But even when we go see concerts of bands that we like, there's always a point where we want to leave. And so when we work on the show, we're like, okay, what can we make? So there's something happening every 30 seconds. We work on the music first with that in mind all the time. And then when we start putting it together visually with Louis, and we're like, okay, we need to start very small and then we need to have something new all the time. Yeah. Maybe because we're afraid of boring people.
It's certainly not boring. I can promise you that.
Oh, my first reaction was when I've seen the show at Coachella, to be honest. Before that, I see the boys, talking with all the technicians, with Lewis, obviously, but you can only experience it live, On the paper, it's just about more lights, more. I was just looking at the team scratching their head, oh, we're never gonna make it. And at the end of the day, the band pushes the whole crew to make the bigger and loudest show ever.
How long were you working on putting all of this together?
2 years for this show.
First reaction is always like, oh my God, how can we do that? And the producers said, did you say something, Manu? It will be expensive or not? I said, oh my God, if you knew. Every time we find a way to do it with a sign of money, timing, space, number of trucks, If you want to, you always find solutions. Yeah. We start to work on it, and after that we present to the first guys who we employed for the crew and say, that's impossible, it never happened. And so we always had these small memories together, nice souvenir, when the crew says it's not possible. Look at this. If we don't believe in it, we always do, I don't want to say bad thing, but more regular show. If you want to do more creative, more technically believe in it, you have to be in your head really clear. We can do it. Yeah. We can do it. Just find a way. You have sometimes no sleep night, turning in your bed oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But that's, to be honest, this experience is unforgettable.
because it's you, we're gonna tell you a secret. Main idea of the visual for the live show was based on something that is not here anymore. Every time before we hit the road, there's a period of time called residency, where we book a venue for like 3 weeks. We set up everything, and so the first week is very technical. It's really about like finding out what you've been like designing for months or years and seeing it in real, and then making sure like everything works properly. At the residency, like behind the stage, there was like a workshop made of, I don't know, maybe there was like at least 20 different workshops. And our team was like all day long, like manufacturing small pieces just to make things be easier to set up, easier to fold back.
2012 show in Coachella. Yeah. We play main stage before this crazy big show of Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre with the hologram of Tom. Yeah. We arrive like small little French, like, hey, we have a little set, you know.
You have the stage like that,
and we were not ready to be fast. And after the show, they take us and our gears like throw it away, yeah, you know. And I feel that. I just said to myself, never again. Really easy to set up, really fast to remove. Because if it's easy to set up, we can tour everywhere. Lewis has time to record the cues, to adapt the show. We don't want to be slaves of the techniques. Technique is a tool. We have to use it to do creation, but we don't want to be under for the technical reason, you cannot do that, you have no time, you have no, I don't know. But we want to use technique as a tool, but we have, you use the tool, you know?
Yes.
You are not a slave of that.
And even like each box for each like machine is custom made.
Wow.
It was a crazy workshop.
Yeah, but because like being able to set up in like 40 minutes instead of 1 hour makes a huge difference. So everything is like anyway. And then when we saw the main element coming, it looked so bad. Oh no. So everything was based on one thing, and that thing like was impossible. But we didn't panic because all the rest looked so cool. We're like, okay, not a biggie. We're just gonna reconstruct everything without a main element. Yeah, but because that there's no need panicking, you know. Yeah, just have like to stay cool, and we redesigned everything. And to be honest, we were a bit scared that it would feel like a downgrade from 2017. But just because we know the behind the scenes and we know like the main thing is not there.
The amps were not there, so we're a bit okay. Like, is that enough?
And if you count, there's less elements than on the previous tour.
Oh wow, really? I would never think that.
But because like the panels, they were much bigger and everything. And we played the first show, and the consensus was that it was an improvement from the last show, so we were very relieved. But till the end, we were not very confident. Like the one thing that we were confident is that the music was better. The equipment we use makes it much more flexible. The way to perform it was better, so this we were like, we were very confident about this, but it was the visual, and but now that it's done, we're like, of course it's better, but at the time we were not sure about us.
It's nice to know at the end of the day that you're all just human, because it is very impressive to watch you up there doing your thing. You're so good at playing cool. It's just a whole lot of,
that's
are you out there? I don't know.
That's years of practice of trying to look cool.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. No one will ever know.
Thank God we don't have mics, because the cool would be gone for sure.
All the lights, just easy as ABC, that's how you make it right. Do the D-A-I-C-B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sing to the beat, easy, get ready to ignite. You were such a PYT, catching all the lights. Just easy as ABC, that's how you make it right. Do the D-A-I-C-B, sing to the beat, easy, just easy as ABC.
To call yourself the #1 Justice fan. What do you admire about as artists?
When I'm joking, saying I'm the #1 fan is like, of course, they are my friends. We are working together, but I love also this distance, you know, about me being a real fan of what they are doing. It's a form of respect, I would say. Sometimes, the managers or the label, trying to become bigger, And I think I've been at a good school, working with Daft Punk before, keeping your feet on earth, I'm working for them. I love pretty much everything about them. Not only they are musicians, but they are art directors. And this combination of having big ears and big eyes and big art makes them one of the best band ever. And I feel very, of course, grateful and happy and lucky to be working with them. I also believe that they are signed on the best label on earth, Headbanger Records.
Personally, I have a theory that your being a super fan yourself is kind of what has created the super fandom and the warmth and the sense of family that kind of surrounds it.
True. No, true. That makes sense. It's been more than 20 years. That we've been doing all this together. I don't remind me, Kat. People are seeing us as we are, and of course we grew up. We had kids. We had tragedy. We had love stories. A lot of things happen in our lives, like real life. Exactly. And I think people get attached to it, and we continue to deliver, I hope, good music, and that's the main thing. Of course there is the images, there is everything, but it's about music, at the end of the day.
It sounds cliche, but it's an actual religious experience. It's something that changes you dramatically. What Headbanger makes me feel, what the community has done for me, it doesn't get old. You can feel the passion. You're excited again. It's can't wait to go to the next show. And what city, I don't know, but I'll be there, lose my mind again, and repeat it all over again until this tour ends. And it's a great time. What I want to do is have other people feel that same experience that I feel with Justice, because it keeps you alive. Oh man, I am feeling it, man. Woo, that was deep.
I traveled from the actual Navy Yard to be here. I got here 4 o'clock on the dot with my McDonald's. It's called Determination.
I got here around 7:40. I didn't sleep until 5 a.m. and I came here at 8:30.
What do I like about Justice?
Everything. The rage of waters.
The music.
The hugs of woman.
It just sounds so big.
The empowerment of new lands, civilization.
It sounds so right.
Throwing down to Genesis, sleeping to Love SOS. Fuck Hyperdrama. Don't even get me started with Hyperdrama.
Hyperdrama is actually my favorite album so far. It's so different. Like Cross, you got that gritty noise. AVD, you got that 70s arena rock pop. Woman, more disco-y, but this one's dark and ambient. I love it.
They really are the central focus of electro house, which is one of my favorite subgenres of music ever.
It speaks volumes in their music that they have a musical background, and they're also really nice people too, which is awesome.
During the audio video disco era, they said that they have a clear sense of what they want to do and even more of what they don't want to do. They have this vision that's amazing that unfolds more and more. And I also just love the cross motif.
The religious iconography of their whole aesthetic is really just timeless almost. And also it's a little bit sci-fi inspired as well, which is always a good thing.
And they inspired me to have this leather jacket custom made, because I'm so short that it's really hard to get by a leather jacket that fits you properly, so you have to have them custom made, but this one's made in Massachusetts.
I've never felt more inspired and pushed by anything in my life. I went into engineering and I went to stage design just because of what I saw at Woman Worldwide. I've been able to do lighting design. I'm doing props for some main stage dubstep acts right now. It's been really cool.
What would I say to someone who haven't seen them?
Honestly,
do it.
The stage production and lighting,
do it.
See it, go to the rail, be blinded for 30 minutes.
I've literally dreamed about being front row for a Justice show, and I did that last night, and it was the best experience of my life. I cried 4 times. I almost passed out twice.
It definitely exceeded my expectations. Everything is so all around you that it's like almost overwhelming, but it's like in a good way.
I saw them back in 2012 when they toured with Audio Video Disco. It was definitely a religious experience in 2012. It's a religious experience now.
I definitely think it's one of the best concerts of the 20th century or 21st century. I don't know what century we're in, but it doesn't matter. It will be one of those concerts where, oh, I wish I saw Daft Punk at Coachella. It will be like one of those tours.
Daft Punk and French House was what got me into like disco and like funk and everything. So I know we're talking about justice. I don't know we're at a justice thing and everything, but I got Daft Punk walk so justice could run.
I never got the chance to see Daft Punk.
You want to see the closest thing to Daft Punk that's happening right now?
If I can't see Daft Punk,
it's happening like right now.
Justice is the one that I want to see.
And luckily, they have a lot of tour dates.
I think for a lot of people my age, there's a feeling of, oh, what is Justice doing? Are they just like this old band that was big 20 years ago? But I think that's just the comment of someone who hasn't seen what they've become. In 2007, Justice really stood for chaos, rock and roll energy. In 2024, it still has that chaotic energy, but I think the pervasive message has really become this special togetherness. We absolutely need justice now more than ever. Justice stands for art's sake, for feeling every feeling 1,000 times stronger than you've ever felt it before, for beauty and light and chaos and magic and friendship and space. It's insane, this band, which created an energy and a cultural force for me to follow and be inspired by and begin a career around. That they continue to push themselves to new heights, to redefine what that culture can be and is about, to just continually push themselves to be better and better and better, inspires me to push myself to be better and better and better. They're out here proving that there is no ceiling as long as you've got a vision and you trust that vision. And for me to come out on this tour and share my vision is magical. But even more so, to do it with all my friends, to meet new friends, and have that instant connection where we're all swimming in the majesty that is this body of work, this moment in time, capturing it, looking each other in the eye, and just reeling from the absolute raw meaning and inane wonder. That singular style and power, that's something we should all be a part of together. And you'll never be alone again.
I hope it's not the end.
It's not. The end is the only last song of the album, but which is definitely a good song. But no, it's definitely not the end.
We love to hear it.
Oh, whoa, tequila! Whoa, is it for here? We are live!